Okay, hello everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to the next session on this front end playlist. Just one second, let me check if I am live. Okay, cool, I'm live. Perfect. So I hope you guys can hear me clearly and I hope the screen is also visible. I can see the screen is visible. Uh, Let me check the audio once and then we'll start the session. Okay, perfect. So let's get started. This is lesson number 58, and we are going to understand here class and arrow function. So this is the JavaScript session, and we are going to understand what is this keyword class and what are arrow functions, all of these things, right? If you guys have not seen my today's video, which came live at 11 a.m., right? And we did many topics in CSS, right? So it was named as CSS Miscellaneous Part 3. If you have not seen that, then go ahead and watch it. Uh, there you will be able to understand all of the different advanced CSS properties of CSS, which we have explained. So try to see whatever we have covered there. And coming back to this, if you guys are new here and you do not know what is happening, so let me tell you about this. We are basically providing a free content course on front-end development. So this is the playlist which is going on right now. And uh, if you do not know about me, then let me tell you about myself. Okay, so my name is Ritwik Raj and I'm a corporate trainer. I have been working as a subject matter expert and a research analyst in most of the edtech companies, and I have 3+ years of teaching experience, and I've trained graduates and corporate employees in from Edison and Capgemini. I've trained more than 30K students till now. It is increasing day by day. The subjects which I take is mostly into front-end development, back-end languages, database languages, mostly into full stack development domain, and I also do take some tips and tricks on how to crack or face the virtual interviews or face-to-face interviews. Okay, so this is what is all about me, and you can use my code RIT10 to get a free Relevel sample test paper. If you do not know what is Relevel, don't worry, in just 1 minute I'm going to tell you about it. But if you do know about Relevel, then you must be knowing that you have to give an actual test of Relevel, which is of 1,000 marks. So to help you out, we are providing this coupon code. If you use this, you will get a free Relevel sample test paper, which will help you in guiding what kind of questions and what kind of format in which questions will be asked in the actual test of Relevel, right? So please do not forget to use this coupon code to get the benefit out of it. And talking about Relevel, I'm just going to explain you that. But before this, let me clear it out one more thing, that right now in the YouTube, if you can see, it is showing you lesson number 59, correct? But this is not lesson number 59. In fact, this is lesson number 58. Okay, so don't worry, we will change this up so that you will not have any confusion. So 57 sessions are already done, 57 lessons are already completed, and this is 58th one which we are covering up. Okay, so don't get confused looking at 59, right? This 58. If anybody is watching, then please do let me know in the live chat. Just say hi or just say give me a thumbs up or something so that I can understand that you guys are watching this session. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's talk about Relevel. Now, what is Relevel and why is it there? Why Unacademy plan to launch a product which is Relevel? So let me talk about this. Now, many times what happens, candidates miss out on great opportunities due to multiple reasons. This can be anything. One of the cases can be that the student has done or graduated from a BSc degree or BCom or a BCA degree, but they have applied or they want to shift into IT field. So they have applied to 50-60 companies, but they are not getting any reply back, okay, for any interviews or anything. So the main reason can here be the degree, because you have the skill, you have the IT skills, but company is looking into your degree and then rejecting it, right? The other case can be that you have done BTech, but because you're from tier 3 college and many people are not, many companies are not hiring or interviewing candidates from tier 3 college, so you're getting a lack of opportunities there as well. So your resume doesn't stand out with those 100 others applying from the same startup or the same company. These are some reasons why people are not being getting interviewed or not getting hired. So we here at Relevel, what we are doing is, this is India's first test hiring platform by Unacademy, which is helping job seekers find their dream jobs only on the basis of their skill and talent. Now, how we are going to judge on the skill and the talent? That you will be judged on the basis of a free test which you have to give. So the benefit which will be there for you will be that you can attempt this test for free. You have to finish your test in a single attempt. Just 1 second, wait. Okay. So yeah, so you have to give a free test. Over 50 plus companies, including top startups and unicorns, are there with us. So once you attempt this test, test will be of 1,000 marks, and you have to score above 700. Once you score above that, you are eligible for a profile. That profile will create and we'll share it with all our client companies. And 1,000 plus job positions across business development, front-end development, and back-end development are there. So you have a lot of opportunity to get here, because here we are just going to judge you on the basis of your skill and talent, not on the basis of your degree or anything else. Correct? So how to register yourself in Relevel if you want to do it? First of all, you can see in the video description, there is a link which is given there for the Relevel site. So if you click on it, it will take you to relevel.com, where you will see that it will ask for a mobile number and you will get an OTP. Once you do that, it will ask for this page where you have to choose the test which you want to give. So if you have a skill on front-end development, choose that and then move to booking a slot. So you have to book a slot when you want to give the level test. Slots are limited, so I suggest you to book it fast. Okay. Now you have to fill in the details for the admit card. So you have to fill the full name, email ID, birth year, current state, gender, and all of these things. And after that, you can see here, there is a referral code here, right? So you have to put here the code which I have showed you, which is RIT10. Once you click on apply, you can see click on create account. You'll be able to get this kind of account page where you will have your name on the top right corner, and you'll have the sample paper. So once you give this sample paper, you'll be able to understand how and what kind of questions will be asked in the actual test, so that you can score above 700. Again, if you're not being able to score 700 and if you're being able to score below 700, don't worry, after 30 days you can attempt it again, right? So go ahead and register for it right away, because as I said, slots are limited. Okay. Now, if you have not registered, go ahead and do it. If you've already done it, then all the best for your actual test, actual exam. And suppose that you're not ready for the test, if you're not skilled enough, then go ahead and watch all the playlist which is there in this CodeBeyond channel. So you can see here that we are covering up front end, back end, Python, SQL, DSA, CP. There are so many sessions which all other educators are taking, right? So go ahead and upskill yourself. Once you upskill, once you know that, okay, I'm ready now, then you can register for Relevel, right? That was all about Relevel. I hope you got an idea what is this. And hi, Shavyanshu, Sekhar, and Naman Mehra. Hello. I hope other people are also watching it. So the next thing is, please join the Telegram channel, because in this Telegram channel, you'll be able to get notifications on when which particular educator is coming live and when sessions are being taken. Also on which topic at what time. So all these notifications you'll get here. Also you'll get notifications about Relevel here itself. Okay. Please do subscribe the YouTube channel, which is CodeBeyond. If you've done it already, then go ahead and hit the notification bell so that you can get the notifications in your YouTube app as well. Also, if you're liking this session, then please like and share so that more number of people will get to know about this, and more number of people will be able to know that this free content is live, and they'll be able to join and enjoy the benefit, right? Okay, so we are going to start the session of JavaScript today, which is this keyword, classes, and arrow function. So we are going to start up with this keyword and we'll try to see what is this, how is it getting worked. Okay, so this is my Visual Studio Code. Let me open the Chrome also. 1 second. Okay, so I hope you can see both of the things. Let me just adjust it. Okay, good. Fine. So here what I'm going to do is, so because we are going to work with JavaScript right now, so I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this. Uh, let's create a folder and let's type here class and arrow. Okay. This is the folder which I have created, and inside that we'll create our files. So we have index.html, and we'll also create one more thing, which will be script.js. Hello, Lucifer. Script.js. Fine. So these are the two things which we have created. Let's start off with index.html. We'll also write some JavaScript codes in our script.js. I hope you can see my coding part. Understanding this. Hello, Somu. Welcome back. Classes and arrow function. Just writing the title. Hello, Muhammad Sahid. Perfect. So let's save this and let's check out if it is working in my server. So have a look. It is working and it is saying understanding. The title is already there. So everything is perfect. Let's get started with our coding. Okay. Now to understand this keyword, you have to understand that this is basically a keyword. Okay. It's not like I'm just saying this. Okay. This is a keyword which we use. Okay. It is also used in many other programming languages, and is having a very important role in programming languages. Okay. Many of the beginners and freshers do get confused when we use this keyword, because as the name suggests, this, right? By the name, if you talk about if, right? So if is a conditional statement. If this is correct, then do this. If this is false, then don't do it, right? So else, for, those are some kind of words which we can understand by the meaning of it, right? Similarly, this is also a keyword which we can understand by its meaning itself. What is it? Okay. So this means referring to the current object, or referring to the current variable, referring to the current method, referring to the current uh, constructor. It can be of anything. Okay. It can be a variable, constructor, object, anything. But this means this one, the current one. That is the meaning of that. So we'll slowly see how we can use this in an example, and we'll see what does it look like, how do we write it. Okay. Hello Sahid sir, when you will teach us React and Angular? Just after completing Bootstrap and jQuery. So I think I have repeated this many times. JavaScript CSS will get completed now within 3 to 4 days. After that, I'm starting Bootstrap and jQuery simultaneously, and after that we are going to start React. Angular will keep it for maybe later part, because many of you have told React, so because it is trending also. So we'll do first React and then we'll move to Angular if necessary. Okay, both are not necessary, by the way. If you know only one, it works fine. So that's an update. Now let's get started with the body part, and let's understand how we can write something in for this keyword. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to just take an ID, let's say demo, and now I'm going to create a script. Okay, right now I'm just typing the script in this same file itself, because I want to explain you how this keyword is connected with the above code. So that's why I'm using this script here. Here what I'm going to do is, let's say I'm taking a particular variable and I'm going to create an object. Now understand, when I'm saying an object, you must be knowing what is an object. Here var person equal to, if I'm giving a curly bracket, so that means I'm creating an object, right? If I'm not giving a curly bracket, if I'm just giving a value, then the person reacts as a variable. But right now, if I'm given a curly bracket, that means I'll be having something to write, which is acting as an object. Okay. So let's say if I'm writing a first name, let's say the another thing is the last name, and let's say age, and let's say one more variable which will have function in it. Okay, so let's say work, and I'm going to create a function in it. So again, this I've already explained you when I was explaining hosting. So work is a variable, but it is also acting as a function. So you can call this if you want to call it. So I'm gonna return. Okay, now understand what I'm returning here. So here what I'm going to return is this dot first name plus this dot last name. Now what is the meaning of this here? This means that current object, in the current object you can get the first name value, and in the current object you can get the last name value. So you need to search that, right? That is what is the meaning of this keyword here, but we will try to understand in a more better way. Right now let's see what is the output. So document dot get element by id. Here I'm just going to take the id which is demo, and I'm going to print it up. So inner HTML, and we need to call this function. So we can't call it directly like work. We can't call it because it is inside an object. So we need to write the object, and then through the object we can call this function. Okay, so let's see what is the output of this. Let's save this. Because we have done document dot and we have written paragraphs, it should be getting printed in my browser. Let's check out. So you can see here it is printing me Ritwik Raj. Let me just zoom it. So it is printing that, right? Now what is the meaning of it? The meaning of this code is that from here it goes to the person object, it finds the work function, it goes to the person object, it finds the work function, and it is returning this dot first name. This dot first name means current object. Current object is what? Ritwik. Current object for this is what? Raj. So whatever is the value is getting returned because I'm returning, so it's returning here and it's getting printed. Okay, cool. So this much easy, but this keyword is used in many other places as well. Okay, so let's understand where and all we can use this keyword and how does it work like. So suppose if you are using it in a method, just the way how I did right now, I used this keyword in a method, right? You can see I've used this keyword in a method right now, correct? So when you're using this keyword in a method, that means this refers to the owner object. Okay, what is the meaning of owner object? This is written inside a function in a method, right? So this method will be having some object, and what is the owner of the object? Person here. So it refers to that. So this refers to the owner object. Suppose this keyword is written alone. So this refers to the global object. What is global object? How we will understand that, where we can use this keyword alone, like just this, not with the method, not with the variable. How we'll see that in a next example. Now, next thing, if you are using it in a strict mode, right? If you are using this keyword in a strict mode, this is undefined. So it will just give you the output as undefined. You have seen in strict mode in the previous sessions, I have explained you what is strict mode. So you must be knowing about this. We have seen one example of method. So we'll now try to see how it works alone. So if you write a code in which we are not putting any method or something like that, but we are just printing it up. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to comment this. And here I'm not going to write any such kind of thing. I'm just going to write here y, and we have to write some code here. So let's write here. I'm just saying let y equal to this. Okay, and I'm just printing y. So it is alone object. It is alone. This keyword is alone. It is not referring to anything. That means it is currently referring to the global object, which is y. Correct. So have a look what's happening. Let's go to the browser. If I save this, it is saying object window, right? So whenever a particular output is saying object window, it does mean that it is referring to a global object. Okay. So here what is basically it is saying that this keyword is referring to the global object, right? Because you have not written any logic, so it's just giving the type. If you remember, whenever you want something, some variable type or some data type, it comes in a square bracket. So it's just giving the type because it is not having any value. If you can see, y is not having any value, right? And y is only containing this, and this refers to the global object at that time. That is why it is showing me object window. That's the global object. Fine. So this is what is your alone when this keyword is used alone. Now what we'll see is, we'll see how it works if I write here use strict. Because use strict tells me that you have to strictly follow the rules of JavaScript when you're using use strict, correct? So when I'm giving y equal to this, I'm not giving any number, I'm not giving any string. Whether use strict will work or it will give me an error. Let's check out. So I've given use strict. I'm gonna give a semicolon here, and let's go back to my. Let's run this. It is saying the same thing. So JavaScript rule says that there is no problem in this. Even if you are not giving any value, if you're writing this, it will give you an output, which is object window. So it is strictly followed. The rule is strictly followed in JavaScript. Now, also one more thing, this all things are nothing but come up in a, arrow functions and all. These all came up in ES6, which is ECMAScript 6. So from that only we got all these features, right? Now, we just saw how we can use this. Now let's understand in a function how we can use it. Okay, so let me comment this. And let's move here. Okay. So now in the script, what we are going to do is, we have already have one paragraph ID demo. So here I'm going to create one function. So let's say I'm create one function. Let's say I'm creating the function name as sample, and I'm going to give it here as return this. Okay. So this is basically returning a this, but I don't know what is it returning, right? I don't know what it will return. I'm just writing this. Similarly, we did this thing in our variable, and it returned what? It returned me the global object. Let's see what happens if I have written this, and I'll call it also. So document dot get element by ID demo dot inner HTML equal to the name of the function. Let's call it. Again, do not give this particular excuse that, or any doubt should not be happening here, that why am I calling this above the function? It is basically hosting. You must be knowing about it, right? So when I'm doing this, what happens? Let's have a look. If I save this, let's observe what is the output. You can see here still it says object window. So rather it's variable, rather it's a function, it will return an global object. It will return the global object. So here also I'll write the same thing. In method, if this keyword is used alone, it gonna refer to the global object. Okay. So what is the meaning of this global object? Why is it showing you object window? Why this kind of output? What is the meaning of this? Basically, the meaning of this is, if you go to inspect, if you go to sources, if you drag this, Control P, open this. So here you can see what is happening. If I run this again, let me close this. One second. So you can see here in the first, I have just put up a breakpoint here and I'm debugging. And you can see here in the call stack, basically this call stack is having all my different, values here, which will get stored, right? And here also we'll have one global watch here. But as you can see, there is nothing happening here, right? This is basically at what point? This is basically when you are into doctype.html, right? In the script, if you will see, let me just move to the script part. Let's say that I'm writing this thing in the script directly here, and I'm going to remove this, or I'll just add this script file as an external file. So yes, let's save this. Let's save this as well. Let's come back to my browser. Here what I'm going to do, I don't want to do this. I will be opening the file which is script.js, and I'll place it here and I will run this. So you can see here, this is running, and in the call stack, you can see anonymous, right? So my stack is now full, it is running, and in the global also, we can see all the variables, correct? And here, if you find the sample function, if you find the sample function, you can see it here, sample function, it is still there. The sample function is embedded, that means it is declared, but the argument and all, everything is null, right? Now, why is it null? If I move to the next statement, which is return this, if I run it again, this will already be null. And you can see here, it is saying me return this. It is not returning anything. This is just a global object which is getting prepared here. So it is just saying that internally it is storing as a global object and is just showing me that's a global object. This is what is called as a global object. Okay. So in the call stack anonymous, all the stack objects get stores, and that's why it is showing me that output. Okay. So let's stop this. Let's come back to the code. Fine. Now let's try out some other examples and let's see how it will react in that case. So I was having here this function. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to just write here use strict. Okay. And when I'm saying use strict mode, if it is in the function, in method, if strict mode is used, what should happen? So if I use here strict mode, earlier when I was using it in the variable, it was showing me global object. Let's have a look what is it showing me right now. So if I save this, one second. Okay, have a look what is happening. So it is saying undefined, right? Now why is it so? Because you're using use strict, so that means its strict rules are being followed. Now these strict rules are not for functions. In functions, if you're using this keyword will have one value, and that value is undefined. Okay, but when it comes to variable, then it was showing me global object, right? So make a point of this when if you're mentioning it in anywhere, please make a point that in functions this use strict will give me undefined value, but while using it in your variable, it's not gonna give me the undefined value. It's gonna work, it's gonna store the global object. So JavaScript strict mode does not allow default binding. That is what is the meaning of this. But in object, it does creates global object. In functions, it does not. So that is what is called as default binding. Now let's go ahead and use this in event handlers, right? So what I'm going to do here is, we don't want any JavaScript. I'm just going to delete this, and we are going to write something here. So I'm going to just create one button, and in this button I'm going to write on click. In the on click, what I'm writing, this dot style. Now understand, I think this I have also explained you in my earlier sessions when I was trying to explain you the event handlers in JavaScript. If you have not watched that session, go ahead and watch it. You will understand what is, one second, what is event handlers. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, this dot style dot display, and I'm going to just say here none. Okay, because I've used single quote and double quote both, so it's not going to give me error. If you would have used double quote, it's going to give you an error, so be very strict about that. Now let's say if I'm saying here click me, now you can see here this means this tag, right? Because you're using it in a tag, right? So this means this particular tag. Okay, now in this particular tag, what I want is a style and display. I want to make it none, correct? So let's understand what is happening when I'm doing this. Let's go back to the browser. I've not saved it, so let's save it. And you can, one second, why is it coming undefined here? Oh, I have not saved the JavaScript file. One second. Yeah, so I'm getting only the one button, click me. Now what I've written in the event, if you click this dot style dot display equal to none. What is display equal to none? This is gonna go off, so it's gonna vanish. There should be nothing here. If I click on this, it's vanished, right? So this means to the current object, to the current tag which I'm using, right? So anywhere you can use this keyword, but you need to make sure where you are using it and how it will work. In variables, if you are using, then how it will work. In method, if you are using, how it will work. And if you are using it in alone, then how it will work. And if you're using it in a tag, how it will work. So if you know all these things, then no problem. Let's see some more examples for this. So I'm going to use the same example, just the way how I've used it here. Okay, and this one I'll just make it uncomment. So we have where person, and we have first name, last name, age. Now here I don't want to return all of these things, I just want to return this. Okay, and I will also uncomment this, and I'll just call this function. So let's see what happens when I call work. Again, I'm just returning this, so it is alone, but let's observe what is this. You already know, because I've already explained you, if inside a function you are returning any of the this keyword alone, then what could happen? It will return the global object, right? So for this, what is a global object? For this, the global object is person, right? So you have an object here. Let's save it. Let's go back. Let's observe what is happening. So now it is saying me object. Now understand, it is not giving me object window. It is giving me object. Why is it so? Because this keyword is used inside an object. Can you see here? This keyword is used inside an object. That's why earlier when I used this, I think here, right? It was not, this function is not inside an object. It was inside a Windows feature, right? That is what we also call it as Windows object model. So this whole program was it inside Windows object model. Understand, there are two things, window and object. Object, look here, this object is one thing and window is one thing. So window, when all the code, when you're writing, all these codes are inside window. Okay, and when you're creating an object, all the codes inside this are inside an object. Okay, that's how you need to understand. So here we are getting an output which is object because we are returning this keyword in a object, inside an object itself. Cool. So let's move ahead. Let's try to see something else. Okay, so this was all about this keyword. I hope you have understood this. Now let's move to the next part, which we have. We have our arrow function. Once I have already explained you what is arrow function when I was doing hosting and all, when I was explaining hosting. So I guess most of you must have understood what is arrow function. But again, because it's a very new topic, so let me introduce it to you with a different code. Fine. So arrow function is like a shorthand property of writing a function. In a function, how do we write it? We basically we write the function and then we mention the function name, right? Something like this. We do something like this, right? And what do we write here? Basically, we can return anything or we can write a logic here. So let's say that I'm returning here, welcome to CodeBeyond. This is what I've written here. So obviously, if I call this function, this is obviously gonna give me what? This is obviously gonna give me return welcome to CodeBeyond. Correct? Let me give a semicolon. Let me save this. Let me check out. But right now I'm not printing it anywhere, so it's not gonna print anywhere. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is okay. So this is giving me the output, welcome to CodeBeyond. Fine. This is how you write a function. But now I want to make it easy. I want to make it much more, I've written so many lines here, 4 lines here. How can I write a minimal line to work it off? So what I have to do, let's say I'm writing here, a variable. So what I'm going to do here is, to create a variable, what do we do? We do var, and then we write any particular variable. Let's say this much, right? And then we do not need to give a function name here. So basically what is happening, that is what is becoming a function. Even if now, if I play this, if I save this, this is gonna work and give me welcome to CodeBeyond. Correct? So this is what is called as when you're creating an anonymous function. Okay. But now what I want to create an arrow function. For this, what you have to do, you don't have to write anything such like that. What you have to do just is remove these all things. Okay. Or remove this function thing and just give an arrow here, something like this. Okay. Now this is what is called as arrow function. Okay. Now if I save this, if I go back to my code, still you can see welcome to CodeBeyond. So this is just to make your function a little bit much more easier to see and to understand. Now observe one more thing. If you go back, you have only one statement in your function, right? So you do not need this curly brackets. Okay. Now what you can do is you can directly write this, and there's no need of return also. Now if I save this, if I go back to my browser, still you can see welcome to CodeBeyond. So if you, but this will only work when you have only one sentence or one line of code in your function. Okay. Now what we can do here is we can also pass our parameters. If you have any parameters, you can pass that also as well here. So suppose I have one particular value here. Let's say I'm writing here name, and here I'm going to print this up. So welcome to, and I'm going to add name here. Okay. So here basically my name should go out. So I'm just going to give here the value. So let's say I'm giving here CodeBeyond. Right. And this is how it's gonna print me the parameter. This is basically the argument which I'm passing. This argument will go to the name and welcome to CodeBeyond. It should write. So let's save this. Let's go ahead and you can see here, welcome to CodeBeyond. So this is how you can work with parameters as well. This is where you need to write the parameter. But again, if you come back, you can see here you have only one parameter, right? So remove this bracket. So when you have only one particular parameter, you do not need to write any bracket. Save this. Again, watch it. It's still giving me the answer. So all the functions, this is the kind of shorthand or a trick how you can write the functions in a way. But again, understand that this is not the normal function. How do we write a normal function? This is an arrow function. You cannot name this as a function. Okay, this is an arrow function and its working is totally different from what a normal function will work. Working is same. Basically the hosting part, or when you're using a hosting, then it's not going to work in the same manner, because this sample which I've written is a variable. Okay, it's not a function. It is a variable which is working like a function. So that's the difference. If I would have written function sample bracket, then that sample is not a variable. That's basically a property, a function, a behavior, right? But this is a variable which is working like a function. Okay, that is your arrow function. And without parenthesis also I have shown you. Let's understand one example for this, and then we are going to move to classes. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give a button here. Okay, let's say the ID of this is not sample, let's say click, which is having 2Ks. Okay, so a button which is having an ID, and I'm going to also name it as click me. Okay, so this is the button, and then we have the paragraph, and in this script we are going to write something. So let's check out what we are writing. No, so arrow function is not a pure form function. No, it is not. This is basically introduced in ES6 to make your function look like a shorter way. Okay, or to write functions in a much more easy manner. That's why it was there. So it's a shorter function syntax. If you know Java, you must be knowing Lambda function, right? The same way it works, the same logic and the same concept behind it. But again, Lambda function is not a pure function. Pure function is when you're using the function keyword, right? So that's what it is. Let's move ahead. Let's remove this and let's write a code for it. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to do var. If you guys do not know Lambda function, if you have not done Java, no worries, don't get confused. If you know Java, you must be knowing about Lambda function. If you know Java and you do not know about Lambda function, go ahead and search it off right today itself, because that's a very important topic. If you are sitting for an interview, they are going to ask you what is a Lambda function if you're going for a Java interview. Var, and I'm going to take here, let's say code is my a basic variable which I'm taking here, and this one I'm just going to give a anonymous function here, right? The spelling is wrong. Okay, so inside this I'm going to just print something. So let's say document dot get element by ID. Here in the ID I'll print it in the demo, and I will write inner HTML. I'm going to add this here. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to use event listeners, okay, using this keyword in this example. So I have a code, okay, and this you can also write it in the same manner. Like it's not necessary that you have to write it individually. You can write var here also. There's no problem in that. So I've created a function till now here, which is a code, which is acting as a function, and I'm just adding this to it. Now I don't know what will be getting added here. but I've just written that. Now I'm going to write window dot and understand what I'm writing now. I'm writing add event listener. Now, if you do not know what is add event listener, so it is a event listener which is going to listen to the event which you are doing. Okay. So the event which I want to do is load. Okay. And I'm going to load code variable inside it. Okay. And next thing what I'm going to do, document dot get element by ID. Here I'll take the click event. Also, I'll add here add event listener, in which I'll add click event and I'll say code. Now understand what I'm doing here. So basically, once you click, one second. So basically what is going to happen is, first of all, this is load. Load event means when your web page is getting loaded. That is the event which I am writing here. So add event listener means it will listen to the event which you are writing. So what is the event which I'm writing? Load. So once my web page will load, it is going to print whatever is in the code. What is there in the code? In the code, I have written this keyword, which is gonna print something in the demo ID. Where is the demo? In the paragraph. What it's gonna print in the paragraph? There is nothing, right? I'm just saying this. So remember, when you're using variable, what it was printing? Object window, right? So that's what it's gonna print. It's gonna print object window for now. Then later on, I have also written one more statement for add event listener, and the event is click. So when I click something, which one? I'm gonna click this click. When I click this, what's gonna happen? It's gonna show me the code. And but when I click this click me button, what particular statement or what particular object it's gonna throw, that we need to check out. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, going back to the browser, understand what I'm doing. I'm just saving the file right now. I should get one button and object window. Why am I getting object window? Because of this code. Once the web page is loading, it is going to the code. Code is moving to the function. Function is saying this. This is not having anything else. So it is printing object window. Now we are going to click on this. When I click on this, it's saying me object HTML button element. So why is it saying me object HTML button element? Because if I go back and you can see here, get element by ID click. So if I click here in this button, event listener is happening and it is going to the code. In the code, what is written? A function. In the function, what is there? This. What have you clicked? You have clicked the button. It is not in the paragraph where you are doing something. It is the button which you have clicked. That's why it is saying me that you have a HTML button element which you are in currently right now. So you're currently putting up or pressing up or clicking up the HTML button element. That's what it is saying me. Okay, cool. So that's how this code works. Now let's understand one more code similar to this, in which we'll change something. Okay, so we are going to have the same ID button and all these things, and here where we have used the anonymous function, we are going to use arrow function here. So what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to use here an arrow function. Okay, and everything else we will keep it as it is. We are not going to change anything else. Just one second. Okay, same things. Now, what is the theory behind it? What is happening when we are doing this? So with the regular function, when we have used the regular function, the anonymous function, what is happening? This keyword represents the object that calls the function. Okay, so the object which calls the function, what is it? It is the button element. Okay, at that time. But when you are working with arrow function, we are working with arrow function, this represents the owner of the function. So who is the owner of the function? This function itself, right? So let's see what is the output of it. So if I go back to my browser, You can see here already, first of all, it's giving me object window, but when I click me, it's giving me object window again, right? It is not giving me object HTML button element. Why? Because right now this keyword is referring to this part. It is referring to the owner of the function. The owner of the function is code, and whenever it's a variable, it is coming inside object window. Okay. Earlier, when I was writing an anonymous function, which was a regular function, that was moving to the object that calls a function. So what is the object that calls a function? Button. So that is why it was saying me HTML button element. That is the difference between anonymous and the regular function and the arrow function. So here what I'm going to write, I'm just going to write it in the words. So regular function, when you are doing, and if you're using this keyword, then this keyword refers to the object that calls the function. Okay. Another one, if I'm using arrow function, what's going to happen? If I'm using arrow function, if I'm using this keyword, this refers to the object. This refers to the, this refers to the owner of the function. In my case, which is code. Okay. So note it down if you want to note it down. This will be really helpful. So arrow function, regular function, what is the use? Fine. Let's save this. So this is all about arrow function. Let's move and understand what are classes. We have already seen objects, right? How to create objects. And this is the time when we are working with classes. If you have not seen my classes and object video, then please go ahead and watch it, because there I've given a very good example and explanation of what is class and what is object. If you have not seen that, if you're not a regular visitor of my sessions, then you have missed that. But please go ahead and watch those. You'll be able to understand what is class and object, what is the difference between those. And if you already know Java, then you must be knowing what is class and object. So here I'm just going to remove this. We don't need this. And we are going to create a class in the script. So let's say I'm creating a class, and I'm just creating a class in the name of television. Okay, so this is the class name which I'm creating. And you can again see the class name when I'm writing, the class name is having a different color here. So basically Visual Studio Code knows what I'm doing here, right? And in the class, we basically mention all our properties, all our variables, everything, something like that, right? We do write all of those things in our class, inside a class, right? So that's what we are going to do. But before that, please understand, a JavaScript class is not an object. Okay, a JavaScript class is a class. It's not an object. It is not working like an object. Maybe we write it as like an object, right? You can see here that we do give curly brackets, but it is not an object because we don't have an equal to here, and we are not writing class keyword when you are creating an object, right? When you're using a class keyword, we create a class. This is what is creation of class, and inside the class we write all our different components, constructors, methods, variables, whatever you want to write, you can write it here. Okay, so let's try to do one example for this, and let's see what is it. If you do not know what is class and object, if you do not know the difference, so just in one easy example, I'm just going to explain you. So if you want to design a television or a TV or a smart TV, you can't just start working on it, right? You just can't start creating that. What you have to do, you have to have a pen and a paper where you will sketch the TV design, how it should look like, what should be the color of it, how much width and height it should be. Those all things you will design in a sheet of paper, right? So that is the design, that is the state, how it should look like. And the next things in the paper itself, you will write what are its functionalities, right? What it should do. For entertainment purpose you will use it, or for gaming purpose you will use it, or for work purpose you will use it. Those are its uses. That means its behavior, correct? You can do volume down, volume up, you can do switch on, switch off. All those things you'll write in a sheet of paper. So that is what is called as a blueprint, and that is what is a class. So inside a class, if I'm creating a television class, inside this I'm going to keep all my components, state, properties, behaviors, all of those things I'll write here. Okay. And what is an object? So by looking at the blueprint, you create the object. You then design the television. You then start creating your smart TV. And once the real entity is designed, or it's there, you have already completed designing it, and the real component which you can see as a TV, that's what is an object. Okay. So in a class, we start writing all the state and properties. Here what I'm going to write is constructor, and I hope you guys know what is a constructor. Constructor is basically used in classes, which makes or initializes the class values. So here I'm just using a constructor with two parameters, name and year, and I'm just going to write here this name equal to name and this dot year equal to year. I'll tell you why am I doing this. First, let me write the whole program, because here most of you will get confused that why sir is writing this dot name equal to name. Name is already here. Why is it making it equal? You will get confused. So don't worry about that. We will see what I'm doing. I'm going to do const. I'm going to do my car, and I am just creating, sorry, my TV, and here I'm going to write okay, I'm going to give a name. Let's say I'm giving Sony, and year I'm going to just give here 2021. So what is happening here? If you know Java, you must be knowing what is happening. If you do not know Java, don't worry. So this is the class. That means this is the blueprint which I've created. Okay. So in the blueprint, I have said that I have the name written in my blueprint, and I have the year written in the blueprint, manufacturing date, something like that. Then I'm creating the object of it. So this is the line which is creating the object. Okay. Now when I'm creating the object, that means the real world entity, right? Imagine when you are creating a real world entity, now you know its name and you know its year, right? But the name and the year, you will fetch it from where? From the blueprint only, right? Again, I'm going to explain this. Okay. So you have the blueprint. In the blueprint, you have all the information about that TV which you want to create. Okay. Having the blueprint, and then I created the TV, right? Now my TV is already there. Now when you're using that TV, you want to know the name and year of it, right? Or maybe how it works, maybe what is the color of it, maybe how much big is it, what is the height, what's the width of it. Then you have to go and look in the blueprint. You have to, because you can't remember everything, right? So you have to go and look at the blueprint, that okay, in this blueprint, what is the data, what is given here. That's what I'm doing here. When I'm creating an object here, my object name is my TV. Okay. And obviously every object is created using new keyword. In Java, in any programming language, you go ahead, we created using new keyword. So what is this new keyword doing here? It is basically internally creating a memory for my object. This new keyword, do not tell any interviewer that new keyword is just to create a new object. No, it is not. It is not used here to create a new object. No, it is used to give a memory allocation to this object. In the memory, for this object to get stored, you need some memory, and that's what this new keyword is doing. And this television is in constructor. Constructor is written in such a manner that it is having the same name as the class name. So what is the class name? Television. And that's how we got to know that's a constructor. Okay. This constructor is having some arguments, one Sony and one 2021, correct? Again, you will ask me that sir, just now told that constructor is used as the same name as the class name. Then why I have written here constructor? Now, if you look at any other programming languages, then we do write television here. Okay. we do mention here television. Then now it is acting as a constructor, but in JavaScript we do not name it as the class name in the class, we name it as constructor. And this is really very useful for you because you're understanding that it's a constructor, it's already telling you that it's a constructor, right? So this television, whenever this constructor is getting called, it's just like function. It's a special function, we say. Okay, so it's a special function. When this television constructor is called, it goes here with the name as Sony and with the year as 2021, and it is giving the value. Where it is giving the value, I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you what is this dot name equal to name. Later on I'll explain you this, but I hope you are clear with this statement. Now what I'm going to do, document dot get element by id, I'm going to give demo dot inner html, and here I'm going to give my tv dot name plus my tv dot year. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just printing it up in the demo part. So here is the demo, no need of this. In the demo part, I'm just moving it up. Okay, now have a look. So what's going to happen? Understand, constructor is of class, so this class will have its own parameter. So this class is having its own parameter, which is name and year. Okay, understand, when I am writing this name, when I'm writing this year, basically what is happening, this Sony is getting saved in this name, and this name value is of constructor. Yes or no? Here also I'm passing it with the constructor, it goes to the constructor. So name and year is of constructor, correct? So of constructor, this name, I am putting it, I'm assigning it to the this dot name. What is the meaning of this dot name? This dot name means this क्लास नेम. सो इस क्लास के नेम में हमने एक नाम ऐड कर दिया जो कि सोनी है. अभी तक सिर्फ इस वाले नेम के अंदर सोनी था, नाउ हमारे क्लास के नेम के अंदर भी सोनी है. ओके, सो टिल नाउ ओनली कंस्ट्रक्टर वाज हैविंग द नेम सोनी, बट नाउ द class is also having the name Sony. Similarly, the year, here it is 2021, here it is 2021. Now I'm assigning this to this dot year. What is this dot year? This dot year is the class variable, the year. Now you'll ask me that both variables are same, then why you're assigning it? See, internally these two things are not same. This dot name, this dot year means class का name, class का year, और ये वाला नेम और ये वाला ईयर कंस्ट्रक्टर का है. सो वी नीड टू असाइन द वैल्यूज टू इट. वाई? सो दैट एन आउटपुट कैन कम हियर. बिकॉज आप जब माई टीवी लिख रहे हो तो माई टीवी एक ऑब्जेक्ट है जो इस क्लास से बना है. सो अगर आपने उसको इक्वल नहीं करें, आप अगर उसको इक्वल नहीं करोगे तो यहाँ पे आउटपुट नहीं आएगा. ओके, नाउ इफ आई गो बैक एंड इफ आई शो यू माई आउटपुट, इट इज प्रिंटिंग सोनी 2021. Okay, why is it printing Sony 2021? Because I am passing my arguments to the parameter, and those parameters which are the constructor parameters, I am making it equal to the class parameters, class variables, and that is what I am printing here. बहुत सिंपल लैंग्वेज में ऐसे समझा सकते हैं कि आपका जो ऑब्जेक्ट, जो आपने टीवी बनाया, जो आपने एक स्मार्ट टीवी बनाया सोनी का, जो भी आपने रियल ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट किया है, उसको अगर आपको यूज़ करना है, सो यू हैव टू गो टू द क्लास, राइट? यू हैव टू रिफर टू द ब्लूप्रिंट. आपने जब रिफर किया ब्लूप्रिंट, सो हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट वो इक्वल है. अगर वो इक्वल नहीं होगा तो रिफर नहीं होगा और फिर आप नेम और ईयर पता नहीं कर पाएंगे, राइट? इसलिए इसको इक्वल बनाना पड़ता है. दैट इज़ वेयर वी यूज़ दिस कीवर्ड. तो दिस कीवर्ड का एक और यूज़ हमें मालूम पड़ा कि वी कैन यूज़ इट इनसाइड अ कंस्ट्रक्टर टू मेक इट इक्वल. ओके, I hope you got this, and this was very intro to classes. We'll see some more programs on classes as well, and we'll do one more project based on that, but not right now, as this is only the introduction. So we'll move to our next sessions and we'll see how and what all different topics are there in JavaScript. Okay, so today this much only for JavaScript, and I hope you have understood this. And please do let me know if you have any doubts and if it is clear. Okay, please do let me know. Other people also, please do let me know if it is clear. Okay, and please join the Telegram channel so that you get an update and notifications of all the upcoming sessions, all the upcoming live sessions which is coming up for any educator and for any topic. So you will get an update here. I want comments, guys. Many people are watching right now, so please do let me know if you have understood this topic. Also, please do subscribe the YouTube channel, which is CodeBeyond, and do like and share if you have already liked this session. Thank you so much. If you have not liked it, and if you want to share it with your friends, relatives, and classmates, please do it. It will be really good for them. And yep, thank you so much, guys. Bye bye. Take